It's the last day in July 2022, and I am in Sweden, and my name is Eva Virginius. You that have followed me, you know I'm on my way to enter into Israel for the fourth time, and it's very much that talk against it. But if it's in God's will, if it's in heaven's will, I will make it. And I have not taken a vaccination. And I have about money for about 1 month to stay in a hotel, those expensive hotels there is in Israel. And yesterday I felt it was right to be. I tried to get a hotel that was close to the Golden Gate in Jerusalem. That doors that is sealed, and those Jewish men, it's never a woman, men say that's the door where Messiah will come through. So I have that in my mind. I had it already 2016 when I was there, that I should go to the Golden Gate doors, and but it was not time for it. I never come to be there, and I know today it was not the right time, as I was not educated enough. But now I am educated of heaven, so I can stand in front of those doors and see what will happen. And so I order a hotel room 1 week to start with in Jerusalem and close to those Golden Gates. And it's a hotel that is Christianity. It is because they say talking about Christianity, but it doesn't matter for me because I am always on my own. So it doesn't matter what the environment are. And so then today I get this about Moses, that why didn't he enter into the promised land? Why didn't he do that? And that's a question that is relevant because I'm going to Israel and I'm standing in front of the Golden Gate doors that is closed since many 100 years ago. And so why didn't he could enter into the promised land, Moses? It was because he was listened too much on people around him. The people complaining to him and was angry at him because they felt they were suffering, and some people even wanted to go back to Egypt and be slave, and because it was better, they were thinking, why did you brought us into the desert for 40 days, 40 years. They question Moses so much, and Moses should have only walk away. Don't answer those angry people. Only walk away and sit in meditation, have peace inside him. And God was telling Moses that he should strike the road on the rock, and it come out water so that people could drink and animals could drink. But Moses still was not obedience to God. What God was saying to him, he doubted. So what Moses, the error in Moses was that he didn't have 100% faith in God, because he one ear was listen to the people around him. He didn't focus on what he should do and what was in God's plan for him to do. And for me, it is this, that 3 men have coming through just now and try to split me into my focus, the focus on what I should do in God and heaven's will, my ancestors' will, God's will, what I should focus on. So now it was disturbing. I have told you before that when I have tried to make a decision, I am sent 3 men and I don't know what man I should choose, and then I choose wrong. But this time I ignore those men now. I have to focus on what I should do, to focus only to enter into Israel. And it doesn't matter what the devil tried to give me for make me change the plan God had for me. And it can also be that it can be God that is sending. It's not always the devil. It can be God that send you some distraction for to see if you can go through this test he do. So it's a spirit here that the spirit is telling that you should listen at this, that it's people have this negative thinking, but it doesn't need to be the devil that is sending. It can be God that tests you. If you can stay faithful to God and do the focus on what God have given you into your life, that you should continue and working on. And the symbolic is to be pregnant. That symbolic for to have something growing inside you that you should take care of and not do any abortion or make hurt that baby inside you, hurt it so much so it die inside you. You need to take care of it. Focus on what's the most important for you is to carry this child inside you and make, and then when its time is right, the baby will be born, and you have a completeness in that child that you should continue to take care of, but on the outside of your body. That means to have been pregnant with God in that way, that you have something to do in God's will for your life and for those that is around you. That the Spirit was on me when I say around you, because you don't see it. Some of you that hear this, you don't see that. You don't need to work far away from you. You have work inside your home, around you, to do. You don't need to send money far away. You need to work where you're standing. That's what God is telling me to tell you about. And Moses, he go angry and he break those stone plates with the laws that God have given him, so that we know that he was affected of people around him. So God doesn't make him enter into the promised land. And what is promised land? What is promised land? It's a land where you can find peace, with a land that you are close to God and have peace. It's heaven. God have nothing with a country to do. It's not about going to Israel and stay there. It's not the promised land. The promised land is in you to get peace, and not to ignore these angry people around you and the world that want you to run with it and make mistake because you run with the flow of people. And it's God's people is those in the small group that is not running in the big flow in the world. Those is not God's people. The God's people is those that stop. What am I doing here? And I say that in other last episode. Elijah, why are you here? And he was going into a cave in the darkness and didn't do what he was supposed to do. So this is, I have to, for myself, to remember I have to stay focused on what I have been given to do. So one of the men confirmed that he was from the devil, or it can be from God also, to test me, because he say that I want to meet you, he say, and he live in Sweden, so and not far away, maybe 1 hour drive with a car, and he should come here and visit me. And I say I can't do anything before I have been to Israel. I say I have to focus on my visit to Israel first of all, and then to 2023 I can start to date if it's in God's will to do. I wrote him that, and he say that it's only because you do what God wants you to do, you don't need to be isolated. He wrote me, and that was telling me that this was something that should make me not stay in focus on what I am going to do, because he is going to distract me and make me feel comfort in the world, to not be isolated. That means that he wants to bring me out in the world. He's a musician. He have lots of friends, and I can be there in a big group of people that is in the world and do their temporary things and forget and maybe spend money on, so I don't have the money for Israel. So that and then it was this other man that from Africa that live here, also about 1 hour drive, and he want to come to my home. But I have told him that you have to first listen at my podcast, so you know who I am before you. I say that you have not listened. He say that he have listened at my podcast, but I could tell that he had not listened. So I say that you have to listen before you can come here, because you need to know what you're going into. And those two men is Catholics. They are Catholics. So that's very far from my belief and what I don't believe I know. The knowledge I have got from heaven, the Catholic Church is far away from it. It's man-made, and it's not God that make it. And we can see that now in the Pope. He's now saying, forgive me, he say that to in Canada, to these native North American people, the Indians, and he flirting. He travel around and flirting with people, with groups, and try to gathering the whole world for his what man-made church, not God's church. It's man-made church, And so I hope he doesn't come here. And yes, of course I can say no, and I will, because I'm going to tell him also that I have to focus on Israel in November. And then the first man that come through, and he told me that he have a room in Israel that I could be in, and I have I look at all his photos, and it's a trashy home. It's not a good home to be in when I am sensitive in my health. I have to be careful because of my health also, to not be in filthy places. And then I look at the map where he lived in Tiberia and the Galilee lake, and it was this. It's many areas in Israel that is very trashy. It's not nice houses and areas in some of it, and he lived in those it looked like that we have in the 30s, 40s houses that we had, and his house was many stairs. I have to go down in a hill with many stairs, and there were nothing to hold in to when walking in the stairs. So that told me that God wanted to show me these stairs, that is very foolish to go to his place and walk in the stairs when I can't walk in stairs. So it's really foolish. We should not be foolish. And it was God's way to show me that this man was not a right man. And I have to be careful, because there is people that go so angry so they kill. So I have to be careful now and doesn't lose the focus on what God and heaven want me to do, what my ancestors want me to do. They want me to take them back to Israel. But then I don't know if I go back to, I am going back to Sweden, because if I am staying in Israel, I have to close up in Sweden and bring with me some few things. I don't have much more. I have told my daughter that she can have a key to my home, and if she want to stay in my city, she can stay in my home and have fun in the city. She live in a forest, so, and I live in a big city, so it's different for her, a little like a vacation for her. And I say to her that the only thing that is important to take care of is all the photography. I have so much photo from the past, from the old time. I have for 150 years ago. I have pictures that I don't want to be destroyed. So she should take it with her to her home. And I have thrown away a picture that is not of interest for her. So I have cleaned up. And she can come and take those things to her home. And there is not, it's very little few things that is important for me. It's the computer things that I will take with me, but I'm going to have my computers with me to Israel, so there will not be so much here in this home, because I have not spent the money on worldly things. And I have my home as a temporary home, and it is a temporary home. So it's been very interesting to see how it will be in November. I have no clue at all just now. But my work until November is to stay focused, to not be tricked to be somewhere else with my mind, the set of my mind, and not go involved. It's gonna be very nice people coming to me and try to take me away from God's plan. But they will not, because I am not Moses. And people was angry about Moses' marriage, because he married a woman from Ethiopia. But that is the root of all of us people, that we are coming from Ethiopia, all of us. And then they split up all over the world. But the Eve, Adam, Eve, they come from Ethiopia. So what Moses did, it was not wrong, but people say it was wrong. And they were very much focused on Moses as a prophet. But Moses' sister Miriam, she was also a prophet. And Aaron was also a prophet. But they focus on Moses. They target Moses. So in that way, they must have seen Moses be a little shaky, that he is someone we can hit to make him not do God's will. So it's very important for you to hold a strong attitude, not evil or angry, but be a proud person. You need to be proud because you know who you are, and you should know who you are, because some of you that listen, the Spirit's on me here again and confirm it. Some of you that listen is chosen by God to do the will of God. And I can't tell at least not know what God's plan is for you. You need to know those things. You need to know who you are in God, not in the world. Who you are, you have to ask, like I say in the other episode, who am I? You have to ask that. And then when you find out that you have all the love from God and you have the support from heaven, and that you should not be shaken up of other people, you should stay strong. You should still be loving person, and you should not go angry and frustrated, stressed, or like these things. When you know who you are, you should be proud of you. Proud is not a negative thing. Proud is to make you strong, because you know who you are. So that's the first assessment for you, to know who you are, and then build in you that strong person that I know you can be. So that's two things, and we continue to learn. We have education, and the Spirit is very much on me now, so He's saying that He help you with some energy is coming over you. Before I end here, He have sent some energy for you, that you have wake up now to understand what the most important in your life is, to know who you are in God's plan. And I don't know what plan is, but it's not what the preacher are saying in the church, that it's what the plan is for you in your life. It isn't. It's about God the whole time. It's where you are in God's plan, not where you are in God's plan for your life. It's not about your life. It's about God, to do what is in God's will. It's very selfish to think in that way, but the preacher want to preach. I don't judge, because the preacher doesn't understand this about God, that it have with the spirit world to do, not what you are here in this world. Is what you are in the spirit world that is the most important for you. That's step one for you. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.